Nuisance is the interference with the right of quiet enjoyment of one's property. It's really like an invisible trespass. Private nuisance affects only specific people, whereas a public nuisance affects many, the whole public. Nuisance is temporary if it can be abated, removed reasonably. It's permanent if it cannot reasonably be abated. So situations like a huge cement factory has been built and is providing employment for a large percentage of the population, removing the cement factory because of the dust that it is causing to the neighbouring properties would not reasonably be abated. It's really a permanent nuisance in that case, and so it will be considered and treated as a permanent nuisance rather than as a temporary nuisance, because removing the factory would have unreasonable costs. Defences for nuisance include came to the nuisance. If the nuisance was there, if you decided to move to buy a property adjoining a cement factory, you'll be coming to the nuisance. You can't really claim for the court to award you damages for the nuisance by the factory because it was there before you were. Statute of limitations is a claim for a permanent nuisance, not for temporary, because under temporary nuisance the nuisance is considered to restart every day. And defences in some states, nuisance for farming and agriculture are protected by statute. A property developer can't move out to the country and then claim that the farmers that have been there for hundreds of years are causing a nuisance through the smell of their cattle, for example. Remedies for permanent nuisance are traditionally legal, compensatory. The person causing the nuisance is forced to compensate the plaintiff through general compensatory damages include the drop in fair market value, compensate for the loss of use and enjoyment, also special damages such as physical injury, the annoyance and discomfort, and so on. And in some cases where the nuisance is so severe that it has harmed the property adjoining so egregiously, then the tortfeasor can be forced to acquire the adjoining property. So a forced sale can be the result of a permanent nuisance claim. Nominal damages are not available. Punitive damages are available if there is intent, reckless, and punishment and deterrence is thought necessary by the courts. Now, although the remedies for permanent injunction are traditionally legal, injunctions and equitable remedies have started to appear in these cases. So, for example, in the Boomer cement case, the cement company was forced to pay the adjoining landowner, property owner, compensation for the dust and the harm that the dust is causing to their property. If the cement company did not pay, then the injunction would issue. So it was a conditional injunction. The injunction was the threat of shutting down the cement factory. So the injunction was provided as a conditional injunction to force the defendant to make the payments to the plaintiff. In a temporary nuisance case, both legal and equitable remedies are available. And the legal category, compensatory damages, general damages include the drop in the defendant can be forced to pay for the drop in the rental value of the property, or the cost to restore the property This is often capped by the pre-tort fair market value. If the cost to restore is higher than the actual value of the property, then the value of the property will act as a ceiling to the amount recoverable by the plaintiff. Special damages in a temporary nuisance case include the annoyance and discomfort, damages for physical injury, prejudgment interest, and so on. There are no nominal damages here, as is the case with a permanent injunction, and punitive damages are only available in extreme cases where intent and recklessness, malice, and so on trigger the court into figuring that deterrence and punishment was necessary. Injunctions are available for temporary nuisance, but they're not automatic. It depends on the factors, such as the balance of the hardships and the extent of the nuisance, and so on.